And Sierra, what has inspired you to create PeachTree?
After working at as a case manager, I was able to see what the need really was, and I was able to also see where I can make an impact. I worked with transitional age youth. I was a case manager. We were just supposed to maintain them. We were supposed to take them to their doctor's appointments. We were supposed to make sure they had their meds, and that was it. But there was so much more. Some of them wanted to go to college. Some of them wanted to go to trade school. Others wanted to reconnect with their family because they were foster kids. Others wanted to get their birth certificates or social security cards that they never had. Others wanted to learn how to drive. And those are life skills that sometimes when you just turn 18, people are like, you got this. You're supposed to know how to do this already.
What inspired you to join PeachTree?
So I've known Sierra for about 10 years. I also have personal experience. I was in the foster care system for about 3 years. I was adopted out when I was 4 years old. Really just the passion and need for community resources such as PeachTree.
Some of the common misconceptions about foster care.
I think the biggest misconception is that people are well equipped or have the resources when it's not all sunshine and roses to handle challenging situations like that, new experiences and whatnot.
What are the unique challenges of aging out of foster care presence?
A lot of people, they turn 18 and they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have shelter. They don't have their birth certificate, social security cards. They don't have financial literacy skills that they need. Social skills even is a big one.
I think the biggest thing is having a steady path forward outside of what government assistance is able to provide them. So things like housing, emotional networking, support, and just all of the basic things that you wouldn't normally think of, they don't have access to or aren't presented with to foster a healthy relationship outside of foster care.
What support is available to women aging out of foster care to help them with the transition?
Well, I think things like PeachTree are, the goal for us is to provide women those skill sets and resources to have a foundation for a successful life outside of PeachTree. So that means financial literacy skills, that means basic utility education, mental wellness, physical, spiritual wellness, that sort of deal, to sort of help guide them in the right direction.
If you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing about the foster care system, what would it be?
Resource availability. So what that means is, just having quicker, easier access to resources.
Sure. It is our understanding that foster care is free unless the child is entitled to Social Security benefits. How do you feel about that?
I feel very similar to that, the same way I feel about healthcare and college. It should be completely free.
Everybody else that's in the foster care system that didn't have that, like the parents just gave them up or whatever the case was, they don't have to pay. So I found that is really bad because any kid coming out of foster care would definitely benefit from having that $10,000 or that $50,000 at the end when they're aging out or what have you.
I think with something like that, it creates an unnecessary burden that they shouldn't have to worry about when they're 14, 15, 16 years old. It should just be, because their first thought out of foster care is, okay, what now? What happens? And it's one of those things that if something like that isn't readily available to them, like to have access to that money, it's like they're gonna turn to maybe not the best choices in life that will just send them down a rabbit hole of bad decisions.
We also learned, and we're still trying to get the numbers on this, that anywhere from 30 to 75% of people that are incarcerated came out of the foster system. Are these numbers correct, or what have you found?
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the number. I think with, as I've mentioned, just not having the resources to go in the right direction. There's not ever a right or wrong direction because you can always start over, but being put in an environment that isn't healthy for you, where you have to go to that fight or flight mode, is really just very disheartening, to say the least.
Tell us about your experience in the foster care system.
Yeah. So my situation, unfortunately, I do not have a favorable outlook when it comes to foster care. I've always been told that it was never my fault as a child. It was never I was doing anything wrong, I was the bad person or anything. It was they just didn't have enough room, or they just couldn't keep me, or they were just too busy and things like that. So being put from home to home was definitely something that I was like, oh, okay, well, at the time I'm thinking like, oh, okay, something new, a new direction. But I do see how that affects my personal life as I'm older. It definitely instills some not so good feelings about your self-worth and how you came to be as a person for myself. Yeah.
What were the families like that took you in, and did you have a specific family that you found to be life-changing in your path?
Yeah, a lot of the families, being that young, it was definitely something that I don't have too much a memory of, but it was more so, they were all good families. They were all nice. They took care of me. They did the basic necessities and things like that. I was actually in contact with my last foster care family. Talked to them a little bit, tried to get some information on my journey of who I am as a person. And they said that I was a great kid, I was wonderful, and so was my brother, and it was just, it was nice. I don't keep in contact with them now, but, just because life moves on.
What was the longest time you spent with a family?
Maybe a year,
Yeah.
I'd say. And I think that was probably my last foster family, because I believe I was taken around 2 or 3 from my original family. So it wasn't too long. Yeah.
So you got adopted, you say at 4? Or
Yes, I was 4. Yep,
4?
when I was adopted.
And you stayed with them?
Up until I was old enough to move out.
Old
Yep.
enough to move out?
Yes.
Gotcha,
Yes.
gotcha. You got any contact with them anymore?
No.
No?
No.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's more for my mental health than.
Hey, that's what counts.
Tell us about your day-to-day at PeachTree, what you do, and how that drives satisfaction in your personal life.
Yeah, so really good question, by the way. As I mentioned, this is just a passion for me. I was feeling very lost and not knowing what to do with my life when Sierra had called me and said, hey, is this something that you'd want to do? And I said, that's absolutely. And that's really all she wrote. It offers me a sense of belonging. I feel like while this is something that I do on the side, I do put my whole heart into it, so that be community engagement events, community outreach. I like to see myself as sort of like an operations lead of sorts, so making sure events run smoothly, making sure the meetings run smoothly, making sure we have, so many different outlooks to look at when it comes to the resources that we need. So it's definitely, I hope to see this go far beyond my time when I'm gone.
An example of a very rewarding interaction that you've had with one of the clients of PeachTree.
There was one that we had met who, she's a foster mom. She fosters younger teens, older teens, or teens that are, about to be of age. I think the most rewarding thing that she said was, there's not many places out there like you, so thank you.
Tell everyone where they can find you and where they can find PeachTree.
Yeah, so you can find PeachTree on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn as well.
Is there anything that you just want to share with the world about foster care or about PeachTree?
It's very fulfilling. If anyone chooses the route of foster care, do it with a purpose, do it intentionally. Um, make a young child or adult teen's life better. That's really it. And then I love PeachTree. So.